Welcome back to Tran Wins Tactics Ogre Reborn. Thank you for joining me. When we last left off, we had defeated a necromancer. We could have actually gone back to the castle, which is red to indicate there's an event waiting for us. As I continue to learn the game, I'm continuing to refine how these episodes are going. Thank you for toughing it out through these growing pains.
Leonard has told me of the battle. You have served me well. I hope you continue to do so. You are to accompany Leonard to Phidoch Castle, a Bakram holding.
Phidoch Castle? Where the Dark Knights are garrisoned? Why there?
I want you to forge a treaty of non-interference before the real fighting with Golgorstan begins. Not with the Bakram, mind you, but with the Dark Knights of Lodis. We cannot have them hounding our flank while we are occupied with Golgorstan.
But, Your Grace, it was the Bakram who brought on this war. Our parents died on Loslorian swords. Had they not aided the Bakram, how much suffering might we have been spared?
None know this better than I, Kashua. But consider what would happen were we to face such a foe in open battle. They would crush us. The Bakram people, overfed swine that they are no threat. But the Dark Knights, there is a foe to be feared. Which is why we must swear our allegiance to Lodis and ensure that they are no foe of ours.
So, Your Grace means to bend a knee to Lodis?
Tread carefully, Vice. I have told you, we are of one mind on this. I know the devil's bargain we make with Lodis. But it's only until we can deal with Golgorstan and Balbatos. With the Dark Knights at bay, those opportunists in the Golgorstani camp clamoring for war will fall silent. There's our chance. Once Balbatos is dead and buried, only then do we turn to strike the Bakram. What does our holy knight make of this? The Zenobian throne has no designs on Valeria. No Lodis they. Surely then King Tristan would not object to a treaty of non-interference. A gesture of support for our burgeoning state. But I forget, this has no bearing on you, Sir Lanselot. Forgive me. Well, the sooner you and Leonard have left for Phidoch, the better. A purse of 5,000 Goths should help you see to your needs. I'll not have you depart unprepared.
A couple of things just in case you're having trouble following along. The Bakram have allied with Lodis, and so the Dark Knights came in, killed your protagonist's father, and Golgorstan have come in and taken over certain holdings, and so the Duke Romney wants to fight back against Golgorstan. So to do so, he wants to make sure that the Knights don't stab him first. He's gonna say like, hey, can we be best buds? However, Kashua and Denam are a little unhappy with this, given that they believe their father has been killed by the Dark Knight. I don't know if the father's alive or not. It's just, yeah, these kind of things are always up in the air with an RPG. Okay, sometimes they just let the father live just so they can kill him off later, so you can get like supposedly a double emotional impact. Also, he says he gave me 5,000 goth because he would not have me depart unprepared. Look, I haven't spent anything. Yes, I get that, but everything is.
Oh, there's a familiar face.
Just so expensive. At least that's how my opinion. And remember that I am currently worried that I can't get more money. That is my concern. I can't fight any random battles as far as I know. I can just fight in training battles, which I have not shown you. It's just me running into enemies that are randomly created. Their stats, their classes are preset, but their stats may not be. So yeah, so let's say I wanted to buy this spear. Maybe I have like 2 rune fencers. I don't, but let's say a rune fencer and Valkyrie or something. Basically 2 spear users. That's gonna already set me back the entire purse that he gave me. He gave me 5,000. This will be 4,400. Like, at this point, they have unlocked new gear for me. So if I bought 2 items, I could equip 2 people out of 8 in my party. Not even counting the 2 guest characters, 3 guest characters now with Leonard, right? So he has not given me near enough money, which is why I'm very, very, very cheap with my money, and I haven't bought anything. Yes, and even class marks. This is one of the reasons why I haven't changed classes, is it costs you money to change classes too. So, and that being said, I would change classes if there was a benefit for it for me.
Be well, friend.
But as far as I can tell, my very limited testing, I leveled up the hero as a wizard and as a knight, and his stats were similar. There was a point here, a point there different, which I believe more as a result of random growth rather than class-based advantages. What I mean by this is, in minigame, such as their Ogre Battle SNES version, Symphony of War, whatever, let's say that you reach from level 2 to level 3. You're a wizard, your dude's gonna get more intelligence. In this game, it doesn't really seem to be based around that. I don't know for sure. I tested very limited amount. I mean, I gave it about 6 battles worth of experience to test these classes. And I mean, even if I tested Warrior, leveling up to Warrior, I still got 1 or 2 points difference of things. So testing Warrior versus Wizard, still comparable differences. So I think it's more of a discrepancy in random stat growth rather than class-based advantages. Because if you saw my Symphony of War, you know I'm all about, hey, promote as fast as possible so you can just get busting on those stats. So I haven't changed anybody because it costs money, and I worry that I might want something later on. I don't know. That's always kind of the worry with the RPG player. You'll end the game at the final boss with 99 basic potion. Because what if I need it? You never do. But what if I need it? All right. Anyways, all right. Let's go and move on to the next area. Win a battle with Archer and Knight. Even though you have the guest character here and he's a Knight, he does not count towards your bonus objective. So you need to bring in your own Knight. Slap a Knight there. These 3 will generally cross the river if I show you the map. Here's your team. These 3, I guess because these guys are closer, even though these 2 guys are this side, you might think they'll proceed this way. Their AI is probably thinking like, hey, these guys are this much closer. We'll go attack them. So I don't know if the game originally intended where this Knight goes this way and these 2 guys go that way. It doesn't work that way. The reason I say this is he's a healer and she's a healer. So there's already going to be 2 healers going in that direction, and that is something you might want to consider. My first attempt at this map, I won. I mean, basically I've come up with a way to do this. But my first run at this map, I basically ended up with accidentally 4 healers on the left and 1 healer on the right. We'll do it that way. And let's see here, we need a Knight, which we have, and then we need an Archer. So we'll send Voltar and Archer that way. Send an Archer this way. All right, that looks good. Okay, a couple other things. One, they do have dialogue when you try to dismiss them from your team, as well as... Can I change their classes here? I think I can. I don't know if I already showed this. Let's pretend we're going to change your class to, say, Berserker.
Is that really necessary? I'm quite happy as I am.
A good thought, but let's leave it at that.
Where's Vice?
I can take care of myself. You wouldn't turn away your oldest friend, would you?
We fight for the Wallister. You must put aside your own wishes if you are to be a leader.
You are my only family in all the world. You promised we'd always be together.
And if we try to take them out of battle?
Is this a joke? You're not leaving me out of this.
I have a duty to fulfill. I won't turn from it now.
I have every reason to fight and none to flee.
Wallister forces. Can't catch a break, can we?
They have us in numbers. Best fall back to Rhime.
I'd sooner fall into my grave. Are you a son of Golborza or no?
Talk brave as you like. It won't change our odds. We should rejoin the file.
Almorica falls, and you think the sky falls with it. There's no place here for cowards. Bring 'em on, I say, for Galgastan!
I don't know if how deliberate all of these pieces are set together, but I seem to have a 0% recruitment chance even if I lower the enemy down to 10%. So I have not yet shown you recruit, but there's going to be a mission coming up which tries to encourage you to do a recruitment because it gives you a side objective. This mission also is the first that allows you to have AI assign AI to your team. So as soon as your hero gets his chance to move. So you're part of this 4 group. So you're gonna go left. You're part of the front group, you'll go forward. I've also had a chance to really study how enemy makes drops happen. For example, this dude will always drop a spell, and some enemies will have an assigned drop. And if they have an assigned drop, I don't think they can turn it into tarot cards. Sometimes an enemy, when they die underneath one of these buff cards, they don't drop anything. I have seen items override the buff card, but I have not seen the green tarot cards override the buff card. So for example, these chicks here, I think they'll drop like a harp and a horn, which I don't know what those are for, maybe crafting. This dude drops a spell. But I think pretty much everybody else drops just random items, which could just be the equipment they have on them, or the green tarot. The items on this map are right here, next to this bush. It's one of these squares here. I forget which one. One of these squares here, and the square right next to this craggy rock. So let's go ahead and get those items. Gonna go left. We're gonna go forward. You can now access the AI menu. Use the AI menu to give control of your units to the computer. You can assign your units of various behaviors such as aggressive attacker or cautious healer. To control your units again yourself, simply select manual in the AI menu. To issue a specific command while units are moving under computer control, you can interrupt them during their attack turn.
Warriors of Galgastan, lay down your arms, and you may yet keep your lives.
I thought to offer you much the same deal, boy. A battle's won with blood, not numbers.
Your cause is hopeless. Why throw your lives away?
Sooner or late, all men meet their end. What good to live in fear of it? I know you're kind, young, always thinking on tomorrow. You might try letting go, drifting with the current.
You think me unprepared for death. I'm not so young as that.
God's beneath us. Why do I even bother?
They say that we have more numbers, but here's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have, I think, 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. And so they had basically 11 until he killed this other dude as well. All right, so we can start assigning AI. We're going to assign AI to him last if we do at all. So let's say we want to assign you. You're a very slow dude. We'll make you a distant striker. So let's take a brief look at some of these. We have manual. Fierce attacker, which says advance aggressively towards the enemy and choose the most effective attacks possible. Stalwart defender, stay near the front line and choose the most effective defensive actions possible. Distant striker, stay in the rear and choose the most effective attacks possible. And ardent mender, stay in the rear and choose the most effective healing and support actions possible. So we will have watcher stay as normal. Sarah, we're going to assign her to distant striker. Voltaire, we're gonna have him stay as normal. We're gonna take command of the frontliners just for the time being, and I'm gonna try to throw these guys in that direction. So that way So I'm not gonna command these guys to be AI just yet, but we will eventually. I'm thinking that I will play the map once on my own, where I worry about getting loot and stuff. And another with you, where it'll be much faster. Because I did not like how the previous episode was so long with that final map. It was like 40 minutes. something like that to make my main character walk back and forth to get the green tarot cards. That was no good for recording purposes, so I think I'll just do it like Symphony of War, where if there's something that I want, I do it on my own version of that map or fight. I'm hoping that's okay with you because it'll make a more streamlined version of recording or of episodes for you. Meaning you're not going to see me do a single map for 2 hours, unless the map was intended to be that long. I think in the future we're gonna put everybody on AI once it becomes appropriate to do so. Again, these guys, I want to push them in this direction before I set them loose on the enemy. I do think I'll make heavy usage of AI. Ah, that's nice. It's one of these squares, so let's figure it out. There we go. Okay, we'll set you to Ardent Mender, and we'll set you to Distant Striker. Finish off that wizard, then we'll turn these into frontliners. Now we have 2 more items left to pick up. The reason I'm going for the loot, even though this is not going to be a battle that I keep the results of, I want to show you. I still want to show where all the item locations are. The items themselves seem fairly meaningless, but I couldn't find I had trouble finding a guide for these items, and I don't know. I'm sure I'm just overworked on it because in other games these items are fairly important. Now, they always say make videos that you want to watch, and I would like to see a video where they show you the items. The items themselves can be random, so you might find a log or an ore. It's probably one of the reasons why no one seems to care. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and... I was trying to right-click that, but it wasn't going away. We're going to turn you into Fierce Attacker, Fierce Attacker, Fierce Attacker, and we will just have you manual. You were already manual. So I imagine that the way I've announced is kind of unorthodox. Like you said, like, well, why am I watching if this is not what's happening? I mean, I'm showing each battle as it occurs, but I don't think you really want to watch me do for 80 minutes or an hour trying to find all the items or trying to load a map until I get some decent drops out of it. So that's how I did Symphony of War. Is I would just basically play through it decently for the recording, and then I would play through it loading if I didn't get loot. That took forever. Stick with me, I think you'll enjoy this a lot better than the prolonged map experience you had at the end of episode 2. Right, this battle also seems to introduce another kind of mechanic in the game. After the boss is wounded enough percentage of his health, when it becomes Vice's turn, there's an extra dialogue that plays. So this will probably, I might need to know this in the future, because lowering people's hit points is also important for recruiting them. I've also done some other testing since the last episode. You use more RT being how long it takes for you to take your turn, round time, I don't know if that's what it stands for. You use more RT, the more steps you take. So for example, a dude who walks 1 step uses less RT than a guy who walks 2 steps. I tested this out by walking back and forth and watching the timeline very carefully. So I might make smaller positional adjustments more frequently now that I see that the game does take into account how many tiles you walk. I haven't quite calculated it out though. For all I know, walking 3 steps and this is just throwing numbers out there just randomly, not real. These are not real numbers. But for all I know, walking 3 steps uses 4 RT and walking 5 steps uses 5 RT. Because it's to simulate like running or something. All right, it's one of these steps. I think it's one of the on a green tile, so it's probably this one right there, which I don't have enough movement to get to. Oh, it is also possible to one-shot the boss so that you don't get the dialogue. I was wondering if the game would force him to survive so that you could play that dialogue, but no, that's not the case. I tried this out by giving my character gloves, the brass knuckles, which looked like my hardest hitting weapons. Then I gave him 4 physical attack buff cards, and then I had him activate Mighty Stance, or whatever it's called, where he does critical hits, and I had him hit the boss, and the boss died outright without dialogue. So there's the coral harp stuff. All right, so it's I think it's this green grass right here. Yeah. I don't know. For example, I was really thinking about making a video where I show every single item location and what kind of items you get. If it's just gonna be stuff like log and ore, I don't think I'm gonna get anybody to watch that video. Let's see here. Looks like we have a couple archers before it's Vice's turn. So what we're going to do is we're going to take command of these archers. Manual. And then we'll just wait. Here, have a rock. It looks like he still hasn't spoken. We'll cancel everybody's AI for the time being. Make sure that where's the... Okay, he's right there. Yeah, you might kill him. I don't want you to do that. I heal, that kind of inverts it, but I don't know. He needs to speak. I haven't gotten him to speak yet. So he'll do about 60 damage. Okay, exactly 60 damage. Her with the shield does as much, I think. I think I can reach to heal twice. There we go.
Stubborn wretch! What's it take to kill you?
Quite a tongue on you, boy. Small wonder your kind find themselves reviled at every turn.
Us! Reviled! Look who's casting stones!
Calm, Vice. We do not fight to prove which side is least loved. We fight to restore peace.
I spit on your peace! Almorica knew peace until you plunged it back into war! At least... Oh, no peace in death.
So when it zooms back in on Vice to end that dialogue, I wonder if that's deliberate camera work there to show that Vice is thinking about that statement, or it's just returning back to the point of origin for cutting the cutscene. Okay, and after that battle, there's a new dialogue in people. Sometimes after events, there's sections that happen and talk, which give a third party's account of what's going on, such as a hero is born, talks about, hey, a Pavel, that's Denam Pavel, is celebrated as a hero by the Wallister people. Since I will probably be making these videos shorter by making the AI play for me for these recorded purposes, I think we'll also spice it up by giving you these dialogue to show the significance of these characters and the lore of the game. So for example, the sword fighter, a Gaugastani who served his clan in battle. During the reign of King Dorgalua, deadly sword fights were a popular form of entertainment among wealthy Bakram and Rhime. Only gladiators were permitted to participate in these bouts to the death. These gladiators were deserters or criminals chosen for their fighting ability. By choosing the path of the gladiator, they escaped execution and were granted a small chance of freedom. Rezan was once a gladiator himself, surviving numerous bouts to eventually win his liberty. His skill in battle saw him recruited into the army, but he was disliked by others for his vulgar manners. He was bullied mercilessly and made the target of much unjustified scorn. Perhaps because of this, his prowess on the field of battle waned. He was killed after clashing with Denam Pavel on the Golborza Plain. Win with an enchantress or wizard in the battle party and perform an action to debuff. It doesn't actually have to be an enemy, it can be anybody. What I mean by this is, if your wizard is, for example, casting a spell on your teammate and your teammate happens to get the debuff, it still counts. That was accidental. What I was trying to do is I was just practicing my abilities, or leveling up my abilities. I think that works. Alright, that looks good. The reason why he's off on his own is so that he can fly over the buildings and get some loot.
The sooner you accept the truth, the sooner this will be over. The alternative is also swift yet painful.
Kill me if you wish. You can never kill our spirit, nor our desire for justice.
Defiant cur! Kill her! Who are you lot?
Who's that woman? She's not resistance. Another faction, perhaps.
These two options here will help dictate which title you get later, and also what your victory conditions are here. If we select the second one, we don't have to worry about her being defeated. We can still continue the game if she is. If we select the first one, if she is defeated, you lose this match.
I won't stand here and watch her be hunted. Quickly, to her aid.
She's not actually a peasant or anything. I kind of figured she was when I first saw her. No, she's a Valkyrie. Alright, there's a couple... most of the characters we're going to assign an AI. However, I'm not really all that sold on the whole AI business. For example, I've assigned the warrior to Distant Striker, and he'll still run up and literally uses 1 damage punch on enemies that have more than 1 hit point. Or he'll like run away and use Mighty Blow and then fire his arrow, which does not work with Mighty Blow. My wizard has run up to enemies and punched them as well. There was an enemy right here, and he like flanked them and then punched them for 1 damage. Awesome. He definitely was on Distant Striker. He needs to be manual, or she. No, that's a he. And he needs to be manual for the time being. Now we're going to resume. So there is 4 treasures on the map. It seems to be 4 is the magic number. 1 is right here in this little island. 1 is here between these 2 houses. And 1 is over here. If you're not flying, you can just jump from these tiles. And 1 is right here, which is the same elevation as this tile, so you can just jump from here to there. Once again, that's here, 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 here. If I shoot, so what I was talking about earlier is when you damage your own characters, you get stat ups. While it doesn't actually indicate as such, when you damage a character with a weapon skill, so for example, he's got swords equipped as his skill. He's not equipped with a sword item. If he gets hit with a sword, this experience bar goes up. I'm not exactly sure what that implies, but it may be a helpful defensive mechanism, although the game tooltips do not suggest anything along those lines. Your basic spells can also apply the debuff, so that's air averse, so that counts for the objective. Oh, there we go. Get all 4 items. You just need to finish off the enemy before Sistina dies. When you cast offensive spells, it seems to give experience towards all your equipped weapon proficiencies. However, healing spells don't seem to do that. After this fight, I would suggest you unequip Sir Leonar of his gear.
What? I was not fated to die here. Not to you.
That message makes a little more sense when you read his profile. The Cragworm Mark upgrades dragons, which we don't currently have, into Earth Dragons. If you didn't select to save her as your option, you still get this event, but you do not get the dialogue. We get 2 additional options.
Without your aid, I would never have escaped with my life. Thank you. I am Sistina, a warrior in the Liberation Front. I was scouting the Gargastani in preparation for a raid on their stores when they spotted me.
Liberation Front? Partisan zealots, the lot of them. Nothing but trouble.
I had always thought us 2 sides of the same coin.
She is a Bakram traditionalist, a group loyal to the late King Dogaloa.
I've heard of them. Not all Bakram support the current regime, after all.
Oh, their goals are lofty enough, but their deeds border on butchery. They risk the lives of soldier and innocent alike with their subversion. Means unworthy of their end.
You have us wrong. These are lies spread by Branton. We seek only a return to better times, when a man's race and beliefs could not discredit him.
Better times? Don't make me laugh. Good enough for those with luck to be born Bakram, but we lived then, as we do now, insects beneath the boots of our betters.
I see. Then tell me, why is it that you fight?
We can either say we fight for ourselves, and that gives you Freedom Fighter title, or we can say we fight for peace.
We seek only peace, a world free of war and strife. This is why we fight.
Then we share common cause. Let us fight together.
Us? Fight alongside Bakram? Absurd. The peace we fight for is one in which the Wallister can live as men. We want no part in any shared peace. I piss on your common cause!
Enough, Vice. Such talk leads us nowhere. You are free to go, Sistina, but you must quit this place at once. This is our land, our fight. The Bakram are not welcome here.
As you wish. But we will not stop until the world is made fair and just. One day you will open your eyes. You will see that only by putting aside vain desires can we usher in an era of true peace.
Go now, and do not return.
Thanks a lot, Vice. So instead of Freedom Fighter, we get Peace Seeker. At this time, we're going to go ahead and go to Leonar and take everything he's got, and we're going to also strip his heal skill. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Warren report and find out more information. First, let's go to talk and see more information about this Liberation Front. The Liberation Front is made up of Bakram partisans loyal to the late King Dorgalua. Though they promote equality regardless of ethnicity or religious beliefs, their violent tactics have been called into question following a number of civilian deaths. Front leader Surya Rania vehemently denies any part in these killings. She states this is merely propaganda targeted at discrediting their cause. And finally, Sir Bolus, he said, "I wasn't fated to die here." Let's take a look at why he says that. A Galgastani who served his clan in battle, a commoner from Crisero. Bolus Rumoth was a young man with dreams of knighthood who volunteered to join the army during the massive recruitment drive before the founding of the Kingdom of Galgastan. As a lightly armored foot soldier at the Battle of Almorica, he succeeded in slaying the enemy commander, and for this achievement, he was knighted. His first assignment was to garrison Rhime. While patrolling the town, he discovered Sistina, a member of the Liberation Front, and attempted to capture her, but ran afoul of Denam and was slain in the ensuing battle. Bolus had promised to marry a woman from his hometown of Crisero after his tour in Rhime. Although he realized his dream of becoming a knight, other happiness in this life remained forever out of his grasp. Okay, now we're moving on to Phidoch Castle.
Who goes there? Speak your name.
I am Leonar Risi Ryman, sworn sword of the Knights of Almorica. I come before you a humble servant of the great Duke Ronway, esteemed leader of the Wallister.
I shall announce your arrival.
The Dark Knights make their fastness here in Phidoch Castle. See her soaring white walls? No wonder they name her the Swan. But beneath her outward beauty is a nearly impregnable fortress. Be glad we are not tasked to take her.
We have looked for your arrival, Sir Leonar. You bring word from the Duke?
I do, my lord.
No doubt you've had a hard journey. Come, rest within our halls. Good nights. We find your Duke's proposal most intriguing.
Have you an answer?
Perhaps you'd best ask my lord directly for that.
Sir Lanselot is here? In this castle?
Greetings, brave knights of the Wallister. I am Lanselot Tartaros.
Leonar Risi Ryman of Almorica, if it please you. You have considered our proposal?
You waste no time, do you? I like that. I do have an answer for your Duke. Tell His Grace that his struggle with the Galgastani is of no concern to His Eminence Abuna Branton. Nor is it any concern of ours. The Knights Lothlorien remain and shall remain neutral on the matter.
My thanks, sir, for your swift response. Our lord will be much pleased.
Indeed. Yet I must ask, do you really believe you can defeat Galgastan without our aid?
Defeat Galgastan? Surely not. But such was never our intention. All we want, all we have ever wanted, is to fashion a peace with them. The Galgastani are a proud people. Were it to come to light that we sought foreign aid, it would endanger the position of those Galgastani who seek an accord as we do.
So, your Duke does not want to anger his neighbors by placing his problems in our hands. Buckram could stand to take a lesson from him.
I did not mean to suggest...
No matter. We of Lodis place much upon a man's honor. I can understand why your Duke would disdain the Buckram way, enjoying a life of leisure while others do their dirty work.
As you say, sir.
Forgive me, but your henchmen are so youthful. I feared you wanted for seasoned men.
Though they may be young in years, my knight's skill in battle is no lesser for it.
Indeed.
They freed His Excellency and routed the Galgastani at Almorica. Moreover, it was they who came to my aid in Chrysaro. Without their intervention, I would not be here today.
Ah, so these are the heroes of Goliath, then. Forgive an old knight his errant tongue. I say, have we met?
No, not as such. That is...
That is what? Speak plainly.
That night in Goliath. It snowed for the first time in years. The sweep of flakes over the harbour. The bitter cold. You were there.
Mind your place, Kashua. Have you forgotten why we are here?
Unfortunately, there's no third option. I don't want to rebuke her, but I'm not saying that we should necessarily say that, hey, you guys are goof-offs and we are going to declare war on you. However, I'm going to side with Kashua out of these two options.
We cannot join forces with a sworn foe, and you are our foe.
What quarrel is this? And what place has it here?
Are you mad? Please, forgive him. His passion clouds his judgment.
Ah, the torching. You would have been children, of course.
Aye. We attacked that night on word that elements of the resistance lurked in town.
False word, yes. I remember it well. As do you, clearly. We were in error, though I hardly expect forgiveness on that count. Still, I can but apologize for all it will do.
Enough of this. The Duke awaits our return.
Oh, I'd hoped to speak at greater length.
Forgive them. Forgive us, good sir. We'll be taking our leave.
For once, Vice didn't mess anything up.
Was that entirely necessary?
You recall Hoberim?
My brother? Aye. He was a staunch ally in a fight. Why?
Nothing. Only the brother and sister just now. Put me in mind of him and you.
What kind of question is that? Do you recall your brother? Like, what? So now we just need to head back to base, but we can train here if we wish to. The training mission here does require, or no, has a sub-objective of you being a Beastmaster. I had thought about making Watcher a Beastmaster, so I looked up into whether or not Beastmasters, or Beast Tamer, I'm sorry. Beast Tamer would be something that I should make him, and I don't think so. I mean, I like him as this well-rounded warrior. Right now I don't have any beasts, and while he does get options to recruit beasts, either I'm not playing a great game right, or I just haven't had the opportunity to recruit beasts yet. Yeah, we're just gonna leave him as a warrior. If I were to change him in anything, I'd probably change him to a berserker. Maybe a knight, but I already have a knight. So a berserker would be a missing role that I have in my army. Let's return with news to Almorica Castle.
You set aside your own enmity for the greater Wallister good. Such loyal service will not be forgotten. Would the time afforded you more rest, but I must ask you to leave for Balmamusa at once.
Balmamusa? That lies in the territory the Galgastani allotted for Wallister rule, no?
Wallister rule? Camps where our people are forced to live in squalor. It was a mining town once. Coal. Now our kinsmen are herded there like cattle. Some 5,000 labor in Balmamusa. Slaves in all but name. The conditions are horrific. Scores die by the day.
Then it falls to us to free them.
You could never free 500, leave alone 5,000. No. You are to incite them to revolt.
An army 5,000 strong. There for the taking.
In truth, we cannot stay our course and hope for victory. We are far outmatched. However slight, we must tip the scales in our favor before Galgastan strikes. If all goes well, our bid will widen the rift between Balbatos and his enemies at home. He can scarce dispatch troops here before silencing the cries of dissent within his own ranks. This is our chance.
There will be those in Balmamusa with no stomach for fighting, and others who would sooner leave things as they are. Your task will be to win them to our cause.
They grow weary of fighting, else they would rally more readily. I can think of none better to wake their slumbering heroism than young heroes such as yourselves.
I shall follow at the head of a separate file bearing arms for them.
The Galgastani hold the lands west of Tynemouth. Dame Ravnus will go with you in support.
My sword is yours.
Much rests on your young shoulders. I pray for your swift return.
You're bearing arms for 5,000. How about you give me some of that? Because my guys are just using whatever I found on the floor.
I'm counting on you, Leonor. Do not fail me.
No need to worry. Our plans proceed apace.
Ravnus joined the party as a guest. Alright, let's check out some of her dialogue options. Go to party. And we can remove her here, so she doesn't have anything to say about that. Let's try changing her class.
I'm afraid I must refuse. There are some things I cannot trust to others.
Let's try dismissing her.
Impossible. I am not here at your pleasure or even my own.